But my son wrestled with wanting to be right. He wanted to be able to come back and say, Dad, I did this, and then I figured it out, and this is what I did. Now I can do it. And his explanations were, I just wanted to get through that part where you get funded. I just want to get through that part fast. And I told him, I said, well, what you were doing, did you understand what you were doing by doing the maximum amount of trading today? Even though they say they will let you do it, that's not good advice. That's like a drug dealer, saying, hey, look, I got some weed for you, but if you really want to go high, got some coke. Hello? To left to their own devices, someone that's really on the edge of just wanting to do the most extreme thing, they're going to do the most extreme thing. And that's not helping that person. Okay? That's not a help. That's not someone out there. That's not a company saying, we want to help you make money. So here, trade 15 contracts. You can only really lose $3,000, but hell, try 15 contracts. We're your friend. We're looking out for you. No, you're not. The statistics will absolutely guarantee that that person is going to do that stuff. They're going to touch the thing they're not supposed to touch. They're going to walk in, like me. Sign on grass says don't walk on the grass. Well, I'm moonwalking on it. That's human nature. It's absolutely human nature. And I understand, what he's trying to do. And it's like, I guess if I would have had my father, or if I had my grandfather, alive at the time when I was, first learning how to do this stuff, he had passed away already, so I didn't have that. And I would have tried to do those same things to try to impress him. But that's the part that just gets you in the door, that gets you to the dance. And I don't think that I would have recognized the trap at the time as a 20-year-old, if I would have been met with initial success in doing those things. I'm glad that I failed. I'm glad that happened to me, because I have a personality disorder that would have allowed me to never really learn if I wouldn't have had that first initial shock and pain. It wasn't enough for me to say, oh, I'm never trading again. It just means, okay, this is a whole lot more than I thought it was going to be. I lost 50% of my trade in one night, in one sleep, from one going to bed and one rising up. When that orange juice market opened up, I had lost 50% of that option. The premium I paid for that, I lost it overnight. And while I knew that was immediate, I didn't know what I was doing. I need to pull out, take the loss, and go back and figure out what I did wrong. Learn how to trade. Most of you probably wouldn't have never done that. I'm glad that happened. So the way you avoid failure ultimately, let me define it for you. Failing is you're never doing it again. That means you failed. You're not failing if you go out there and you try to study and do things and you forward test and you blow your demo account. That's not failing. You're learning so much, but you just don't have a way of measuring it right now. You see it as, I'm never learning how to do this. I'm never going to be able to get this. I can't get past this threshold. What's my barrier? Why can't I learn this quicker? That's the thing that you're doing. And here's the amazing thing that you don't realize. Everybody goes through that. I went through it. Dozens of times I quit. Dozens of times. But in reality, in my heart, if you were asking me at the time, because there's nobody there next to me when I was 20 years old. I didn't have a buddy, a study partner to say, hey, look, stay encouraged. My encouragement was getting up and going to work again the next day. And I was like, screw this. I'm going in there. I'm studying more. I'm going to study more. I'm going to study more. So failure is when you ultimately get to the point where you're done. You're never doing this again. You failed then. You absolutely failed. You did. I didn't fail you. The market didn't fail you. Somebody else that's taught you how to trade didn't fail you. You failed you. You did. You stopped. You gave up. You rang the bell. You went home. It's over for you. So that's failure. That was never in the cards for me. Once this bug bit me, 1992, it was over. I'm become a mutant now. And I looked at these charts as a way of getting the hell out of the rat race. And I gave myself a 20-year program. 20 years. It's going to take me 20 years to get where I can no longer have to go to work. That's what I was subscribing to. You'll never hear somebody teach that today. They'll laugh them off of YouTube. They'll never have a following on social media. It would never happen. You got to have 50 R or higher, baby, or nobody's going to your shit. Nobody's interested in you unless you're making all kinds of money, showing certificates and payouts and this, that, and the other thing. Or this person talked to you and this person interviewed you. All of that stuff is bullshit. All of it. And I'm proving it in November. I'm at the biggest I've ever been. And it don't fucking matter. I live this stuff. And when you get to be successful and you can do it too, you're going to remember this. Because the people that are still out there leeching on people, give me money, pay me, I'll teach you how to trade. They're fucking broke. Okay? They're broke. And you're going to pay more attention to the opinions of these types of people instead of just simply listening to a guy that's been here before and have taken everybody that you see now publicly. They're out there. They're showing you what they've done. The companies that have been paying them are interviewing them. You have all the proof now that there's no reason for you not to dig your heels in and study. It's not going to happen for you fast. I didn't tell you it was going to happen to you overnight. You have to submit to a full year. That's the minimum, because you'll know if it's in you or not. And most people can't even do a year. So that's a person that's not equipped to learn. If you can't simply go through an observation of one full year. You want to be a surgeon? You think they let you go out there and 4-month program and start cutting on people? No way. You want to be a pilot? Oh yeah, go ahead and try to, see what you can do. Show us your best attempt here. Get in here, a $30 million jet. Come on, let's see what you got. It doesn't work like that. But this have it right now mentality, that's a millennial mindset. It's a flawed mindset. And some of you don't like it because I'll tell you, as an old head, I will tell you straight up, you have your head up your ass and you can't see things with the proper perspective, and it offends you and it pisses you off. I don't give a fuck, because you need to be corrected, not just in this, but in every aspect of life, because you think everything's owed to you. In this business, you're going to work real hard for a little bit in the beginning, but that little bit, you can multiply and magnify that exponentially. And you don't even realize that. You don't need much. You don't need much. But you see these people out there that have leased cars, and I don't have a problem with leased cars. But these people out here, they have leases and they rent things and they go on vacation and they pretend that they live there. They don't live there. They pretend they make all this money from the marketplaces. They don't. They get it from teaching. They get it from affiliate programs, all that stuff. And I'm not kicking shit on them for doing it. Everybody needs to make their money. But my point is you're looking at that type of person thinking, I want to be like that. I don't want you to be like that. I want you to be able to go into the marketplace, make your ends meet, and if you want to turn it into whatever you want to do beyond that, go for it. It's about making sure you don't need a paycheck. Not get rich. Look, you can take what I've taught and turn it into whatever amount you want to turn it into. The sky is not the limit. But you cannot, absolutely cannot, try to convince yourself that success is only that. That's not true. Because I guarantee you, if you were getting half of your bills each month paid out of your trading, you wouldn't call that a failure. You'd be thinking, I'm successful. Look at this. I'm getting half my ends met, and I don't have to spend the other half of my income on it. Now I've unleashed half of my monthly income. My surplus income has now gone up. That's a success. But it's amazing to hear some of you that reach out to me and say, look, I'm only doing $3,000 a month and I just feel like I should be able to do more. Dude, you just started 6 months ago. You just started 6 months ago. I know people that don't even make $3,000 a month. Gross. You're netting it. And you're complaining about that. As a new startup, you've never done this before. In 6 months, now you're making $3,000 consistently and you're bitching about it. 22-year-old mindset. Because you are chasing Instagram lifestyle. Sit down and say, you know what? I have all this stuff. I have these cars. I go on these vacations. I have nice this and nice that. That's wonderful. Now, here's how I'm able to do it. I'm going to go into the chart. I'm going to show you what's going to happen. And we're all going to watch it happen. They don't do that. They don't do it. They don't need to. You know why? Because their image has sold the shit that they're selling to everybody. And you're all eating it up. You're eating it up. And I've been out here teaching through the medium of a demo account. And I have made millionaires. Plural. What's the difference? I have that stuff, but I know that doesn't make you a better trader. I have what you're looking for, and it's boring in the beginning. It's all practical, common sense stuff that you know in your heart that you have thought about this stuff, but you discount it at the time. No, I don't want to focus on that stuff. That's boring. I want to have that jet set life. Well, you can have that jet set life. But you have to know that you can keep making the money to sustain that lifestyle. Because when courses stop selling, when mentorships stop selling, those individuals aren't going to have that floss anymore. And you can fill in the blank with whoever you think I'm talking about, because I'm putting everybody's name in that. It's just the way it is. I get it. Image sells. I know that. But that shouldn't be the reason for you to go out there and try to do something. You should be thinking, I want to be sustained by my trading. I don't want to be a flash in the pan. I don't want to have a one-hit wonder. I want to go into this with the mindset that I'm going to succeed long-term. And every decision I make about what I'm trying to study, why I'm studying it, what's the purpose of what it is I'm looking for? And whenever you get to the point where you've learned something from me that you can now be consistent with, unless it's the things like we're talking about right now, stop. Don't dilute it. Get really, really good at what you've been warmed up to. It might be the silver bullet. It might be just, hey, I got some old students that simply like, man, this is really cool what you're bringing out, but I'm still making money on optimal trade entry, and I just don't want to change. You know what? That's wisdom. That is wisdom. That's a smart person. That's someone that is educated. And here's the thing. Here's the rub. Here's the thing that you don't understand that they do. They know themselves. They know enough to know that ICT's got all kinds of freaking crack. I got something to get you all high. But they found their vice, their method, their model, their thing that makes them click. And they don't have to reinvent anything anymore. They don't have to step out there and feel what it feels like to be, I don't really understand how this works yet. They found themselves. And they know that if they tried messing with that extra stuff I'm teaching now, not that it's not worth it, not that it doesn't work, it's amazing. They know themselves well enough, they're mature enough as an individual that they know that they would wreck themselves and mess up the progress and disrupt their continuity that they have found by having one approach, which is what I've been preaching all along. Some of you that just warm up to me in the last couple months, or maybe it's the first time you listened to me on maybe the last few videos. Man, this guy's got all kinds of shit. What are you supposed to do with all this stuff? You're trying to bring everything into one market in any one given time. I don't do that. I have models. When the model is in price action, I'll see it. But I have taught you now 3 very specific, highly visual models that I think that are pretty easy to see. One will gravitate, well, you'll gravitate more or less to one of them more than another. And it doesn't mean you're not a good SMC ICT student or a trader if you don't really resonate with the other things I'm teaching. Just because somebody else that's a student of mine is kicking the shit out of some kind of funded account company out there and getting all kinds of withdrawals and payments and all kinds of shit from them, doesn't mean that that's the model for you. And that's very important that you hear that from me. They found their model. Your model is yours. And if you start making money with it, never get in the position where you're trying to talk people into doing what you're doing, because that shit don't work. I promise you it doesn't work. You'll have more people complaining that it doesn't work than the ones that'll step forward and say, I'm making money with what you're doing. Because when people start making money, they don't give a shit about anybody else's opinion. If you're really making money, if you're able to do these things, you're not going to go on my Twitter feed and talk shit. You got shit to do. You're making money. You're living your life. You're not hanging out trying to talk shit to me. That's just not going to happen. And that's what you want to focus on. These are all things. These are all decisions. These are all characteristics of people that will eventually fail. But the ones that do not fail, they're guarding their mind. They're looking for that one approach, that one model that suits them perfectly. Now, that doesn't mean no losses. It just means that, okay, when this doesn't work and I have a losing transaction, whether it be in demo or it's a live account, it doesn't change your opinion about the model being effective. And as a new student or a new trader, that's an uncomfortable statement, because it's hard for you to reason with that and think, hey, I just lost money. Why should I feel good about that? Because you didn't lose more than you did. And you also know that you're not going to go in there recklessly and just try to get it back, because that silver bullet, that model 2022, that optimal trade entry isn't in the chart anymore right now. You have to wait for the next setup. Guess what that does? That instills patience. What are you being patient for? I'm waiting for my model. I'm waiting for the time of the day when my model will be in out of here. We literally can set our watches to the setups I'm teaching you. We know when they're going to form. We know. It doesn't mean that every setup is 100%. And when it does not pan out, you stop, reassess. Is there still time? I'm still in the time window. Is there a new, same type of model, same setup? Is there a new one forming? If it did, less risk, half of what you just took leverage on, half the risk, and try it again. If you lose there, you stop for the day. Don't even come back for the afternoon. And then the next day you reset and start all over again. 99% of Twitter, Instagram traders, they don't think like that. They don't have any capacity for it. They don't even understand that you can sit down and expect between a certain time window of a beginning and an ending, there will be a trade form between this time and that time. It will absolutely form. My model will be in that 60 minutes. It's absolutely going to be there, and I'm here for it. I'm showing up the work. Here it is. I'm here. I'm not trying to fail. And you're learning how to do that for free. And you're seeing your brothers and sisters in this community making bank, real money, not demo dollars.